So I'm Ramesh Ramanathan. So I head TEOSM at Tata Elixir. So that's where we'll begin the agenda today. So first we'll quickly look into TEOSM, which is our distribution based on open source manual. So we are getting ready for release 4.0. So just to quickly look at what the distribution highlights. And then we'll move on to the main part of the ecosystem presentation today, where Tata Elixir has developed next generation UI, which we are very happy to contribute to the community. So we are working with the community to get in as soon as possible. So you should be seeing it soon. To look into the highlights, to look into the genesis of what made us develop this, and then we'll end this presentation with a quick demo of the UI. So to begin with, TEOSM, so we have a Puppet-based complete politicization infrastructure over it. So using this, we have a framework which internally we call as Gallop. So with which we completely control the installation, the deployment, the CI/CD, the upgrade and downgrade of each individual services on OSM. And it's highly available. It's highly available both in the stateful and the stateless sets. And in terms of ruggedization, to wrap up on the productization part, we perform a variety of testing like spike testing, robustness testing, resilience testing, both functional and non-functional testing using our Claybot, which is our NFVO test automator. So we have more than 500 test cases automated there, which we use for the correctness of the of our distribution. So what we have been doing as well, especially with the upcoming release, is to build more pieces around this orchestrator, so that more than just giving one piece of the puzzle, offer more of a solution to customers. So in that regard, we have extended this TEOSM to build also like a 5G testbed, where it is orchestrated by TEOSM. And with this type of 5G testbed showcasing of both the multi-DC connected transport, bringing in a notion of your core, your WAN, UE, as well as from a B2B use case, especially in today's COVID scenario, the SD-WAN being a very popular use case, bringing in a notion of B2B, where we also simulate the customer premise equipment, CPE, where we are simulation of CPE at scale with applications running behind them, like it could be voice, video, internet. So both the contour and the data path simulation for 5G networks orchestrated entirely by TEOSM. And so this is not just to showcase the ability of OSM to be a multi-domain orchestrator, but also to bring in show both the multi-domain aspect of it, as well as bring in integration with commercial equipments, like we have tied up with the network OEM as well to bring in the transport, to push OSM closer to readiness in terms of integration and interop with the leading vendors as well. And so this is one dimension to it, where we try to showcase OSM using our distribution TEOSM as a multi-domain orchestrator. We are also collaborating with the different verticals within our organization. So Tata Elixir mainly works on automobiles, media and communication, and healthcare. So tying across with that, where we have our own IoT platform and OTT platform. So we are bringing in integration of these. For example, our IoT platform Tether, we are bringing in it as an edge platform to showcase OTT as well. To showcase OSM as an edge orchestrator by integrating with our IoT applications, bringing in a sample use case like connected car, and as well as we are tying up with the TE Play, which is an OTT platform, to orchestrate that using TEOSM as well. So the idea being, open source manual and our distribution being ready for multi-domain, multi-vertical, multi-applications. And in this regard, like I said, we have partnerships both in the academia and as well as the industry side. So we are tied up with CIVIT, which is one of India's leading research institutions. It's the research arm of IIT, and we are active overall in the community as well. And we're very glad to give the next generation UI, which is what the next part of the presentation is going to be. So this is to give you a very high-level overview of what we are doing with OSM and what we are focusing with TEOSM as a distribution. So to further promote Mano and R&D, so one thing that one initiative that we have taken, which we are happy to announce in this Hackfest is, so I'll probably be writing a blog on it as well. In fact, some probably reach out to Marcom on it. So any universities and research labs which want to do R&D work, research using open source Mano, please feel free to reach out to us. We would like to give a complimentary license of TEOSM, our distribution, and also provide you with support and help, so that you can take an industry-grade version of OSM and put it into your research labs and do your experiments, and with possible collaboration from our side. So encourage all universities and research labs out there in this to reach out to us for further discussions. So with this quick overview about Tata Elixir and the TEOSM and all the different things that we are trying to do with it, we'll come to the crux of this presentation. So we wanted to use this opportunity, the OSM ecosystem, to unveil NGUI. So we started this journey last year, where we felt that it would be fantastic if we can migrate the front end of open source Mano to Angular-based application. So advantages being Angular based on TypeScript, JavaScript, the huge community. Angular is backed by Google, so you're going to keep seeing a lot of new features, enhancements. Single page application is the future in terms of how responsive it is for users, as well as the responsive design, the different mobile and the iPad, different sizes of designs as well. So the complete flexibility that Angular provides you in terms of performance, security, being a SPA app. So that is something we are very keen to do. So we started that last year, and we are happy to say that it's come to a good mature level where we are in line with the northbound API of OSM as it is today, and of course we continue to propose features to the community to continue to enhance it for future features in the backend. So from highlights perspective, it's completely SPA defined, component data based architecture, clean segregation of code, reusable components, easy to get into. Encourage all Angular developers who are here to reach out to us. We'll be more than glad to onboard you to start developing your own modules. So we stick to the MVC pattern, so it's high with complete separation. It's easy to reskin, easy to remodel, and we also offer cross-browser support, where we will test it across all the common browsers to ensure correctness. And security by design. This is something that we took as a first-class citizens from day one to ensure all the proper, OWASP or NIST. The proper security guidelines are adhered to, the right headers are in place, and all the Angular best practices for security have been adhered to. And we also have multi-language support. So being a completely modular design, not only do we support English, German, Spanish, and Portuguese now, adding a new language is as simple as just adding a JSON translation file, and just like that, a new language can also be supported. So this is a high-level overview of our features, and we have done a lot of enhancements in the current features as well, in terms of what we have done for RBAC, what we have done for Day 2. That you'll be seeing it in a video shortly after this. So after that, of course, we can also have a Q&A. And from a quality assurance perspective, we have tested it extensively. We use Claybot for the automation, as well as another 500 test cases in manual testing. We follow 6 standards to entirety, which is European standard for quality, and complete peer review, and then, like I said, security by design and design ruggedness, as well as a day 1 core feature. So with this quick introduction to our UI, we will now get into the actual demo to showcase what we have done, so the community can take a look at it.
Myself, Bharat. I'm a senior engineer in UI development, next generation UI for the open source Mano. Here is our new sign up design page, which is implemented using the color schema of open source manual, which now we are seeing a new dashboard design, which we have enhanced to bring all the future things in single page. So the user can view all the informations over in the single page applications. So all the running instance he can see, all the failed instance he can see, all the projects which the user is related, he can view in single dashboard section. So the user can easily navigate into a different models by clicking on particular sections, packages and modules, Vim accounts, SDN accounts, or even an instance pages. Also, he can move from a dashboard section. So he doesn't need to navigate through the side menus. So all the information we are showing in dashboard section. Running instance is nothing but the running instance will show how many hours the running instance are running, and it will show all the running instances. It will show number of hours how the running instance is running. And now we are moving into the section of Vim accounts, and here we have redesigned all the list pages, which will be easy to viewable for all the users. So all the predefined types we have taken into the selection, so easily the user can filter out all the options over here, and all the types which are given from the status from NBI, it will be listed as icon. So instead of text, the user can view as an icon, and he can easily grab the status of particular Vim accounts. Now, this is a new section which is designed for data center view in the map. Data center is located in particular location, so the user can add all the data center location while adding the Vim account. So we will be pointing the latitude and longitude based on the given input from the user. We will be placing the icons over there, and it will give all the informations of the running instances. Here we have a data center in Chennai data center. The one running instance is Ceros. So it will be listing all the running instances. For other information, if Japan data center, it shows no data, no instance available. So there is no instance available in this data center. So the user can click and see all the options and all the running instances where the data center is running. And this is a new section. Instead of going into the map view, the user can see the running instances from the list section, which Vim is taking the running instances and how many running instances it will be running. It can be shown over here. So easily the user can navigate into a particular running instance topology from the Vim account section. For other Vim accounts which the running instance is not handled, it will be disabled. We will be redirecting into the running instances section. So here is the new design of NS instances topology view. We have redesigned all the topology section based on we have given all the unique icons, and it will be a catchy thing, so user can easily understand which is connection point and which is VN and which is VNF. The information will be shown in the left side section. So the user can see all the topology in right side and the information in the left side. And now we are going to create a new Vim with the location based. We'll see how the location is given and how the location will be mapped in the Vim data center map. And here is a field which we have added a new field to give the location name. Once you enter the name, just click enter and it will give the results. Based on the results, user can select the appropriate location from the result. So now we are selecting a Chennai location and Vim is created. You can see the data center. Previously we had a Chennai data center on Vim. Now we have created another data center in same location. This one is Chennai data center. This one is what we have created. Based on the given input and selection from the result, we have cached all the latitude and longitude and in the configuration section, and it has been stored in the database. From the database, we are fetching the result of latitude and longitude, and it will be shown over in the map section. And that's it from the Vim side. Now we'll be moving on to the packages section. And here the packages section, the drag and drop and click here to upload files. We have implemented two ways of upload. Instead of dragging and dropping, the user can use the click option also. So it will be easy to click and upload. And if he uses a drag and drop, it is a multiple options we have given over in the section. So all the descriptors which we can drag and drop the upload the files, and he can click and upload the files. It will be uploaded. And same as NS package also, we have implemented same concept. Here, now we have redesigned the action section. The most usable action items will be listed over here, and sometimes we will be using some actions. So it will be listed in the action drop. Now we will be moving into the NS topology section, and as mentioned, this is a new design which is implemented for easy information of nodes, and he can easily submit all the changes over here. By clicking on the left arrow button, it will show all the information of the NS packages topology details, and by clicking on the every edge section, it will be changed over here. So all the information will be listed in the left side. For more information, you can view the information icon. So for creating the edge, just we have to use a shift and drag. It will be connected between the two nodes. For deleting, we are implemented a double click option. More will be see how NS package topology can be used in drag and drop, and how the both the nodes has been connected. So now we have drop a VL and VN of D, and let's see how the connection point is established by clicking the shift and drag. So the user can view, so particular VNF to VL, it is connected, and we have given that connection point. This one is fully automated thing, so the user doesn't need to input the values. He can select the values listed from listed over here. Everything is automated. So now the connection point is established after selecting the particular result. And that's it from topology section. Now we will be creating new instances for the charm. A charm, here the creation of a charm is nothing but we have implemented NS primitive and VNF primitive. For this we are creating a charm section for showing a demo. And here we have created NS instance simple charm, and here also the operation status and config status, it will be listed in the icon section, so user can understand easily whether it is in init state or it's in running state or it is a failed state. Yes, now charm is updated, and the status has been configured and it is in running state. Now we can view the topology for charm section. And we are entering into the executive NS primitive, and this section we have implemented two level of primitive types. User can use the NS level primitive or VNF level primitive. We have given the both the options. Currently the charm focus on VNF level, so we will be performing the VNF level primitive actions. This one is automated based on the selection. Actions will be performed. And for the number index result also we have automated everything, so the user doesn't need to give the input values. Based on instead of giving the input, he can select the values. For the primitive actions like touch and other things, it will be automated and it will be listed over here. And for action performing, the file name we have given over right now, it is also an automated. Just we have to give the value what we are going to perform. After giving the values and based on the result selection, we will be executing the primitive levels. And after creating the primitive levels, the operations can be viewed in the history of operations section. And this is the filtering option as mentioned. Sorry. We'll be filtering all the options based on the selection state. And now we have seen only the completed state. So it will be resulting only the completed sections. There is no failed operations, so it will not be listed. So performed executive primitive actions, right? So it will be seen in this section info. Here you can see the file name is performed as home Ubuntu files to touch. It has been executed and it can be viewed in history of operations section. And now we'll be moving into the SDN controller. SDN controller, the new form design which we have implemented all over the modules. Same, all the validations and valid input should be performed. We have validated all the things using the validation methods. For example, now you can see the DPID is not valid section. So we are validating all the fields like IP, port, URL, and DPID. In this base, the form will be submitted. But if it is a record field, we'll be giving the user information. So this field should be filled.
Your voice is breaking.
Now it is audible. Hello.
Yeah, better now.
Yeah. Just we have created a SDN controller, and you can view the information over here after creating the SDN controller. Throughout all the modules, form has been initialized in the same method. Validation and everything is handled as mentioned. So now for all the form I have mentioned, it will be shown over, like this. And now we'll be moving into the admin project section. And the project section list is nothing but a user can easily switch to one project to other project. For this one, we have given icons where the green represent the current project and red represent he can switch into the different project. So based on the user current selection, it will be change the icons over here, and user can easily navigate to any project over in the project section. For switching the project, the user has to enter his password. What are the credentials we have given? Because we didn't store any password details in our browser for the security reason. Now we'll be moving into the TEL project. By switching, it will be handled all the RBAC implementation. So for this TEL project, the NS package and Vim accounts, nothing is handled. So all the counts shown as a 0. Here, everything is based on the response from the NBA will be showing over here based on the RBAC implementation. We have given the user to switch the project in 3 sections. One is dashboard, and another one is project, and another one is project data section. So you can see in header section also you can switch, or else you can switch in the dashboard section. Back into the same admin project, and here now we will be seeing a new project creation. We have enhanced a domain name over here. If in future any domain is added in a particular OSM, it will be listed over here, and it will based on that the user can select the domain name. Now we will be creating a project, and here we have shown a recently created project. It's nothing but the user created the last project name. That's it. We will create a project and see there is no domain, so we are not selecting any domains and we are creating a project. And now we'll be moving to the user creation. The user creation is, we have automated some sections will be shown later. Now we'll be creating a user. And here we have implemented a password policy. The password policy is nothing but it should be an 8 characters of minimum, and it should at least contain one upper class, one lower class, numeric and special character should be available. In GUI only we are giving this privilege to create. In CLI, any password you can enter, and based on creation in the GUI password, you can enter into CLI also. Our user is created, and we'll be moving into the project role mapping. This project role mapping is fully automated. So here we will be listing all the projects result, so the user can select the appropriate project and the appropriate role for the particular user. Now we'll be adding an OSM Actist and system admin for the role, and here we have given the username changing. This is enhanced new feature. Now I am changing the username. By mistake, we have given the wrong name as OSM Actist, so we'll be changing the username again. And now we'll be moving into the role section. In the role section also we have enhanced a new feature with permissions can be entered in the text mode YAML permission YAML section, or it can be a GUI section. Instead of giving a YAML text, user can preview the permissions in the GUI. We have listed all the permissions over here, whatever we have handled in the NBA. For all the permissions, we have given the green color as a true, and yellow is mentioned as a not available, and red is a false. So based on this selection, the user will be given the permission as default true or default false. Now we'll be selecting some permissions, how it will be shown in the YAML text. We have carried out all the permissions, so you can see all the permissions over here. In future, if any permission is added or any module permission is modified, we can easily change over here. It is just a JSON file, so we can easily modify. Now we have created a testing grid. Let's see how the permissions is being viewed in the text YAML. And preview also you can change anything. Now we'll be going to the edit section. The user can edit a role in same GUI, or it can be a text mode. This is an enhancement feature for the role. And here we are showing a OSM version. For some user in UI, we doesn't know which version of OSM are we using, so we are showing the OSM version over the header and in the login page footer section. And this is the video demo is completed. I will be showing a short reskin and mobile responsive. And this is our dashboard, so we can easily reskin the old application with single changes. So you can see based on the OSM color schema given, we have changed the color over here. This color, and it has been changed over all the application. You can view in all the sections. It is easily we can reskinnable to any color.
Just a second. Okay, I found this.
So in this way, we can modify all the themes based on the given OSM color schema. Now we are going to see the how the language has been performed over here. So currently we have implemented 4 languages: English, Spanish, and Portuguese and German. Now we are in English section. We can move into the Spanish one. So everything is modified and changed it to the Spanish language. It is fully based on we used Google Translate, and we need support for from OSM community whether the text has been correctly implemented. So we'll move into the English section. Now we can see how the iPad and iPad Pro is designed. We have designed in this manner for the portrait and landscape methods for the iPad. Now we'll be seeing the iPad. So we can view all the details user friendly in iPad and iPro also. Instead of desktop, the user can view all the details in iPad and iPro. That's it from my demo. Thank you. Any questions?
So Bharath and Ramesh, thank you so much for the presentation and demonstration. I'm not sure if we have any questions, although actually there's one on the chat. It looks like, is NGUI HA high availability ready? Is the question. Are you
Yes,
able
so
to
so in principle, yes, by design, we have ensured that it is stateless for the different transactions. So we are currently testing that, so that should get, we should be able to close that in the next sprint.